And now, a message from our sponsor. The Indigenous Police Chiefs of Ontario represent all 9 of Ontario's self-administered First Nation police services, collectively serving a total of 85 Indigenous communities. Together, they are working to ensure First Nations police services communities have access to equitable and adequate policing services that mirror the level of support received by the rest of Ontario. With the IPCO organization in place, the voices of First Nation police services are amplified, and their unique needs can be addressed with professionalism and care. Follow IPCO on all social media platforms at IPCO Unified to learn more. Hello to all, and welcome to our next episode of Blue Line, the podcast. I am Brittany Schroeder, editor of Blue Line magazine. Today, I am joined by Sergeant Francis Manila of the Eeyou Eenou Police Force in Quebec. We are going to dive into the really unique experiences he's had as an officer working for a large Northern Territory and how he's worked to serve the many First Nations communities up there and the lessons he's learned that could possibly transfer into police services across Canada. But before we get to all of that, I first want to say thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much, Brittany. I appreciate it, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Before we dive into all that we wanted to talk about today, I want to start by giving our listeners a little bit of background on you because you've had quite the journey. So let's go back to the very beginning. What made you want to be a police officer? And then can you tell us about that journey that led from that decision up to where you are now?
I was born in the Philippines, and I grew up in the really rough neighborhood in the Philippines. So me and my friends saw a lot of criminalities and, all the not nice things going on around us. And we decided to, when we grow up, we all want to be a police officer. And then I migrated here with my mom when I was 13 years old, and it's still in my mind to become a police officer. And years passed. I finally went back to school, and in 2005, I applied for a police technology, but the program is really competitive.
Right.
So I wasn't selected in my first try. So I did 1 year of social sciences. I put up my grades, and the following year, I got into the police technology program and graduated in 2009. And after that, you have to go to the police academy. And how it works is if you have the best grades, you go in right away. So it's really competitive, competitive from police technology and heading to the called National de Police de Quebec. It's in French. So it's Quebec Police Technology. And I graduated there in 2010. So that's the journey. And after that, now it's time to find a job. Because in Quebec, after you graduate École Nationale de Police de Quebec, you have to find a job and where you want to work, like in Montreal area or in Laval, Longueuil, or in other Aboriginal communities. So in 2010 is really, really a bad timing to become police officers because no one is hiring.
Right.
Yes.
Very different from now.
Yes, very different from now. So there's a recruiter in the school that I remember when I was in Janabet to work up north. I wasn't really familiar. And there's a isolated place up north. It's called Nunavik. So I have no choice. I applied there and I worked with them for 2 years. It's called the Kativik Regional Police Force back then.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I think it's Nunavik Police Force.
Yeah.
So I worked there for 2 years. And then a colleague of mine called me one day and said, hey, they're hiring here in Eeyou Eenou Police Force in 2013. So the difference between Nunavik and Eeyou Eenou Police Force is there's a road to go back home with the Eeyou Eenou Police Force. With the Nunavik, you fly in and fly out. So I applied in 2013 with the Eeyou Eenou Police Force. And I was hired in 2013. And then I've been working with the Eeyou Eenou Police Force since then.
That's 13 years of pretty unique experience from what I hear. And that's kind of what we're going to get into today. Now, from what I know, the EEPF, we'll shorten it to EEPF, there's 9 detachments. Is that correct?
Yes, it's kind of unique. The Cree Nation territory in James Bay, it consists of 9 communities. So I'm gonna give you an image of where all the communities are located. I'm gonna start from south here to the coastal area. So first we have Waskaganish, and then East Main, Wimenji, and then Chisasibi. And then higher is Wat Magustu. So Wat Magustu is a part of Nunavik. So
Okay.
but it's part of Nunavik, but it's still with the Cree Nation. And then now, so that's in the coastal side. Now in the inland, I'm gonna go from north to south. So it's Nemaska, Ojibwe, Mistissini, and Waswanipi. So those are the 9 communities that consist of the Eeyou Eenou Police Force. And I started my career with the Eeyou Eenou Police Force in Chisasibi, which is
Okay.
way, way up north. So I worked there for 3 years and a half. And then I was posted to East Maine for like 8 years. And now I'm in Mistissini.
You've mentioned three there, but you have had time at not all nine detachments, right?
Yes, I visited and worked through all 9 detachments.
That's incredible. Now, what was the experience like rotating through every single one of those communities? And do you think that those rotations have like shaped your perspective on the diverse needs of each of those communities that you served?
Yes, exactly that. Through working through 9 communities that I started to understand like the needs of different communities because like not all communities are the same. For example, Chisasibi has like 5,000 population. Mistissini has almost 4,500. And the
Mhm.
small communities like East Main, Nemaska, Wimenji, there are roughly around 1,000,
Okay.
1,200. So their needs are different. And through working through all 9 communities, I started to understand different communities has different needs. The main thing that I found is the lack of facilities for mental health, addiction, help, and like facilities for the youth. And it's really hard because it's an isolated area. So, and the communities are really, really small. So, yeah, those are the things that I see that the small communities really need. Like they need psychologists, help for alcoholism, social services work. No, big communities and has it. Like Mistissini has some of them, but like the smaller communities needs more of that, especially like also access to healthy food because like the
Right.
logistics to go there. So those are the things that I see. But it's like to help the youth, to help the victims of domestic violence, they need a place like women's shelter, stuff like that, facilities and resources. Those are the things that I really see that small communities needs.
Definitely. And you kind of touched on it a little bit there. I want to dive a little further into maybe like the
Mhm.
logistical challenges. So, the territory that you guys cover could very easily be described as being roughly the size of like a mid-sized European country, which is kind of hard to fathom. But that means that there are some pretty significant distances between the communities. Now, for our listeners who work in urban and larger cities and environments, can you describe for them those logistical and operational challenges of just policing such a vast and remote area?
Yes, the main thing that we encounter really needs help is when we have a high risk intervention. Major crimes happen. We need to ask for assistance to the biggest police force in Quebec, which is the Sûreté de Quebec, which
Right.
is the SQ. So sometimes it takes a while for them to arrive and have help. And specialized teams like SWAT, crime investigations, major crime investigations, crime scene investigators. It takes time for assistance to arrive because of the distance. Like, for example, the distance from Montreal to Chisasibi is like almost 1,600 kilometers. And Montreal to Mistissini is around 8 hours. So it takes a long time for assistance and help to arrive.
Hmm.
But we always have them. We always have, just like a couple of weeks ago, we have a major crimes that happen in Mistissini. And in 8 to 10 hours, major crime scenes are here to assist us and help us.
Does it get a little harder in like the winter as we're seeing a lot of snow this year? And I know you guys are so north that you guys get hammered with the cold and the snow. Like, does that provide an additional challenge?
People in Quebec are used to the winter season. So, like, we have all winter tires here, as you know, we have equipments. We're equipped to battle the winter seasons.
Good.
And also, like, for example, when we need assistance, we always plan ahead. Other detachments, like for example, there's community gatherings, cultural gatherings, like major sports tournaments. Like the lieutenant in each community will ask for assistance in advance. So at least, for example, there's a tournament in 2 weeks or in a month. The ask for assistance has been already been done. So all the help and the assistance that needed in that community will arrive in time.
Good. That's great. It's great that you guys have those communication channels open and you
Yes.
you kind of know
Yes.
we're going to help out where we're needed.
Mhm.
Now, you primarily work with Cree staff in northern conditions. How does
Mhm.
this Indigenous-led staffing model influence the daily reality of policing for you?
Yeah, it's kind of unique because we work with indigenous people, and most of our colleagues and the people we serve are indigenous people. Well, for me, like I must learn to understand and respect their culture first,
Yep.
because it's really easy to work with Cree police officers because like they actually know everyone. They know the territory very well, and it's easy to locate people that you're looking for, and it's like that's a plus for example, for emergencies. Oh, this person is the suspect. They know everybody, they know where to go, they know how to contact. Sometimes they don't know the house number, but they know how to go there.
Right.
So it's really convenient, especially in times of emergencies, to have colleagues like that. I have one colleague here. I call him the human directory. You know, he knows everyone in the community. He knows all the houses. So that's a plus for us, especially in emergency situations.
How do you think this model of policing for you guys, knowing everyone, you've got the human directory there. How do you think it compares to the more standard models of policing maybe seen in non-Indigenous Canadian police services?
Mm, yes. So we interact more with the community. We have, like, for example, we go to a sports complex and we're gonna talk to people, talk to kids. You know, it's more of a community policing based organization, because not like in the big city, like you arrest someone and you don't see them anymore.
Right.
And here we deal with them in a daily basis, especially in small communities like East Main, Nemaska, Wimenji, where there's like 1,200 population that you see them every day. And so we interact with them. We have tried to have good relationship with everyone, try to show the positive side of policing, and that police are also humans, you know. We have emotions, we have feelings, and we try to show that we're always there to help and not just to arrest people. Mostly we're there to help.
Yeah, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you're also living in these communities and you're seeing these people every day. I feel like they probably understand that a little bit more, that you are just another human being. You're not just a person in uniform.
Oh, yes, yes. The Cree community, especially the Cree people, they're very welcoming people and very generous people. And not everyone is a criminal, you know. Even it's like statistics says like maybe only 2-3% of the population are criminals, but the stereotype that all the indigenous people are addicted, drunks, and all the negative connotation that goes around with the indigenous people, they're all wrong. Those are all wrong. I have a lot of Cree friends, you know, and they're not everyone is like drug addicts or alcoholics. No, it's just I want to set the record straight that it's all wrong.
Yeah.
Like indigenous people are very caring and welcoming people.
In these more remote locations, not wanting to dwell on the criminal aspects, but there are some common interactions that the police service and the communities have. What have you seen happening most often, and what crimes are the ones that are most prevalent?
In the Cree Nation, mostly it's I can say is the bylaws. You
Okay.
know, being drunk in public, causing a disturbance, fighting, and those are the things that we see on a daily basis. So, is it okay if I show you some statistics that
Of
I have
course.
here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I printed some stats. Like, for example, here in 2025, we have 1,853 files in all 9 communities. That's just for bylaws,
Okay.
you know, and 889 for criminal files. So we mostly see like alcohol related crimes in the bylaws. And for the criminals, it's like the basic simple assault, conjugal, which is we see often as well. And some or most always related with alcohol and drug consumption. So that's one of the problems that we're trying to tackle in the community. And like we just have drug operations a month ago. We really trying to eradicate the drugs in the community. We set like strict rules and guidelines in the community. Like here in Mistissini, there's very strict when it comes to drugs, and because drugs, it always destroys lives, and it's not just the life of the people who consume. It's most of the time it's also the people around them.
Yeah.
So that's why we're really, really trying to fight the drug addiction in the community and doing all that we can, setting up operations, doing drug bust, and we're really focusing on eradicating drugs in the community.
It's important to remember it's not the entire community. So the crimes that you're seeing or the bylaw infractions that you're seeing, are they the same kind of people, the same people repeatedly? Like, are you seeing the same people getting into trouble often?
Yes, that's a good question. Like I said, not everyone in the community are criminals. Most of the people we see are repeat offenders. So maybe those stats that we have is maybe from all the same 30, 40 people.
Right.
Exactly that. It's a good question. You're right. It's mostly repeat offenders that we see.
And maybe it would also tie back to, like we were talking about resources in the communities, like at the beginning, it may just also come down to they need a little more assistance, from resources that may not be readily available.
Yes, like every time, like I intervene with, that I know that has a drug addiction problem, alcoholism problem, I always give him the card, to call. We have those hotlines to call for drug addiction, alcoholic addiction, and also for the youth. We have here in Mistissini the Youth Healing Center. So, like for the Youth Protection Act, there we use that center for rehabilitating the troubled youth,
Hmm.
and also for the Youth Criminal Justice Act. There's some that are being sent there in the Youth Healing Center for so that they can have rehabilitation and education as well. So that is the facility that we have here in Mistissini that some small community doesn't have. So
Right.
like we're lucky to have one here in Mistissini, and we're trying to use the most of it, and everybody's doing a good job, in helping the youth and trying to for them to transition in a better path in the future.
I'm going to take a bit of a pivot here because we're not going to focus fully on criminals and crime because it's not a big part of what you guys see. But I'd love to actually hear from you what your opinion is on what specific leadership qualities do you think are required to maintain morale and operational effectiveness because you're leading a team and serving Indigenous communities in these more remote locations. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Yes, basically for me, a leader or a sergeant must be knowledgeable in police operation and procedures. Because I always believe that the more you know, the easier you make decisions and the easier it for everybody because you have answers right away on the
Mhm.
spot. And secondly, you have to have integrity. And I believe that leading by example. My officers always they see me. I'm working. I'm helping them. I'm going into calls with them. I lead by example. I just don't give orders. I show that I'm with you guys, and I'm with you. We're a team, and team player. Another good communication skills. You need to convey your information and orders in the proper manner. In policing, everybody has their own ego, and you have to talk to different people, different type of way. You have to use a different tone for this person. You have to use different tone for this person. And that's just part of being a leader. You know your people.
Mhm.
You know the people that work for you. What else? Being calm and decisive, especially in stressful situations, like giving proper orders in the proper time. Just being a calming presence in the situation. It really helps a lot. I always tell my officers, like, take deep breaths, deep breaths. Once you're ready, okay, that's ready, back to normal.
Yeah.
and it's tough. Policing is very tough, it's very stressful, and you need to have like good people around you, making sure everybody's okay. And also, the last one character that I always follow is being accountable. Like, if I made a mistake, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Really didn't think of that. Thank you for your input. That's a really good input. Like, I'm always trying to be accountable, to so there's a room for growth and professionalism. If I made a mistake, I apologize, and try to find the best solution on how we can find a solution to the problem. So I think those are the qualities, like, for me. That's my personal characteristic of a best leader can be.
That's really great. And I think that could apply to a lot of roles, like across the country. So thank you for sharing those. Now, you have been directly connected to these communities and this police force for, like you said, 13 years. What is the most important lesson that you've learned that you think other Canadian police officers and the greater law enforcement community, what should they understand about the Eeyou Eenou Police Force's approach to community safety?
The EEPF's approach has always been prevention and community policing. We are more on preventive side rather than the repressive side. Like, we have officers dedicated to going to schools, giving presentations about drugs, bullying, like skidoo safety, four-wheeler safety. We're always trying to be with the community, and we always have police presence, like in the sports complex, patrol all over the community, all the public buildings. Try to always interact with the community, because once they know you, it's easy. It's like you can socialize with them, and like what I said earlier, we try to show them the human side of policing, not just the uniform, not just they always see, oh, police are there to arrest. No, which is not true. Like, we talk to people, we interact with them, we communicate, we socialize, so that they will see the different side of policing, that police officers are also humans. So we try that as much as we can, even in small communities, mostly in small communities. Me personally, I play basketball with the East Main team before.
Okay.
And in Chisasibi, I play basketball with them. And yeah, like, interacting with people. It's the great way to know your community. It's a great way to understand the needs and the problems of the community, because most of the time people will share. They will
Mhm.
share information. They will share, what they're thinking, and it helps a lot in its investigation purposes. That, oh, I know him. He told me this, and he has information for that. Just because you talk to him every day. So interaction, socialization leads to information gathering later on.
Definitely. And would you say, or would you hope that those skills and those strategies and I guess not strategies, just being human, would you say those also would apply in the larger municipal police services that don't maybe see the same people every day?
Pretty sure the only thing I can see that it will apply is just the interaction with people,
Right.
like especially in the big city. If you are patrolling a small area, so try to learn the establishment, the owners, talk to people, interact with them. Not just patrolling, staying 8 hours in your patrol car. Like us here, we really take the time to walk through schools. Like, every day, we walk through schools. There's officers that goes to the sports complex, which is mostly where people always hang out, because people play basketball, hockey, volleyball, and all sorts of sports in the gym. So we see people, we interact with people. By interacting with people, I believe that the negative connotation that attached with policing, it slowly changes when you communicate with people. Not like when I first started, everyone is mad at you. Oh, police are here. Police are here. They got just this, and that. But like, I learned through the years to communicate and develop those techniques, to talk to people, interact, just being human, wearing the police uniform.
Yep.
It will help a lot. It really does. It's proven and tested.
That's incredible. I actually want to go back. One question that came to mind. I would just love to know what you would say was your biggest challenge when you got into either your constable role or your sergeant role, maybe not a challenge with the community, but just like a personal challenge for you that you've learned to overcome?
Oh, when I first got hired as a police officer, because like we talked earlier, there's no job opening in the
Yep.
city. So I have to move away. I have to go far. It's being away from friends and family. That's the hardest in this situation. That's really it's tough for everyone, especially for me, being away from friends and family. I'm a social person, and being working in an isolated and remote area. So I just try to make friends wherever I am. So I made friends, I developed friendship with your colleagues and the locals that you serve. So it eases the hardships of the long distance from your friends and family.
Well, I think you've given us some really great takeaways on this. And I know that there's also going to be a lot of listeners who have learned a lot from you during this discussion because, they're getting an inside look onto the smaller communities that are being served by the EEPF. So thank you so much for spending your time with me today and for staying warm in your house as you do it, because I know it's really cold.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much, Brittany. I'm really glad that I was invited to do this, and it's my pleasure. Listeners or viewers would like to have more information about EU Eenou Police Force. They can always check our website. It's www.eepf.ca.
For everyone who did tune in, we hoped you enjoyed this episode of Blue Line, the podcast. I know I did. You can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And you can also stay up to date on all of your Canadian policing news at blueline.ca. Until next time, stay safe and be well. And now, a message from our sponsor. The Indigenous Police Chiefs of Ontario represent all 9 of Ontario's self-administered First Nation police services, collectively serving a total of 85 Indigenous communities. Together, they are working to ensure First Nations police services communities have access to equitable and adequate policing services that mirror the level of support received by the rest of Ontario. With the IPCO organization in place, the voices of First Nation police services are amplified, and their unique needs can be addressed with professionalism and care. Follow IPCO on all social media platforms at IPCO Unified to learn more.